So, 7 seasons, and I finally did the only diabolical thing for figure form content and get a crowbar for this finale. Yeah, kind of figures. Anyway, hey everybody, what's up? This is Retrokid Reviews, and CK here doing the camera hand thing. Thanks for helping me on that. The acting Superboy, current Superman, acting Superman, Superboy Prime, Roller CK edition. Thank you so much, Retro, is helping me get around to finally doing my overall thoughts of not just the series finale of The Boys, but my overall thoughts with the final season as well. So, let's get to some honorable mentions because I didn't have time to put any screens to it. I kind of agree with the majority that the bottle episode of just basically The Boys going on, have arguments with each other and only furthering a little bit of plot on how to take down Homelander with a I guess what was it, the super-proof nukes during that facility during like the old days of Fallout was like a good idea to use against him for the final for the series finale fight, but we'll get to that. Oh, and one other thing, I totally liked the Supernatural reunion episode with those weird dudes, those weird comedians. It was also this is the end reunion. What the hell, CK? Okay, yeah, it was actually not bad. It got a lot of the humor of like what the ultra gore for this series was also known for. So yeah, we're gonna be skipping those episodes mainly because there wasn't really much to add other than the Vault Rising spinoff with Bombside, who, I'm not kidding, we actually last saw actor wise in Stranger Things season 4. So if you know, you know. So with that being said, and this misleading as all hell poster out of the way, what is my overall thoughts with the final fight with Butcher and Homelander himself? Let's get this out of the way. Anthony Starr and Carl Urban did the best work they could with material all season. I think I can say that with Karen Fukunaga, Aaron Moriarty, who played Starlight throughout the series, and obviously Jack Quaid, and a bunch of other cast members. I am totally blinking right now as far as Boys regulars go. However, getting to the final fight itself was not bad. It's almost true to the comics. It doesn't have to be. Like I said in my first half review for the final season, this book has been known to be okay with the changes, mainly for the fan base, unless you're an I guess, company/fan that wanted to make it true to the comic version the last couple of days. Yeah, I saw that in my social feed. Did not want to talk about that, personally speaking. So, outside of that, there is one of the, I guess, new or formerly disbanded 7 Deads that I actually thought was really good, was Firecracker over here. I think Valerie did a great job coming back to this character. Yes, I know her on a first-name basis, mainly because of her work during, I want to say, The Following, and for video game fans out there, Detroit Become Human. So, yeah, it is actually cool she's got a swan song for that death. Speaking of really ironic deaths, yet somehow surprisingly good performances that should have been here at least a season or 2 longer, Devon Diggs' Allfather. If you know him, he's basically Hamilton alumni, and to make a long story short, had the most hook of a good parody character of whatever superhero you're thinking of, along with the ultra conservatism that most of the back half of the series has been known for. Deep's death was kind of a long time coming, and obviously him crying like a man baby after Starlight gave him like so many outs to just basically take accountability, and him just going, yeah, no thanks. This episode prior to that with the Sam Jackson cameo was actually pretty cool. Again, as far as like Fish, like celebrity appearances has been a thing since like early on with the show with the Deep. So yeah, R.I.P. Kevin, you will not be missed, characters wise. Chase Crawford though, however, absolutely put in an all-time performance when it comes to like being a Dubrow follower for whatever Homelander wanted. And what did he really want this time around, aside from the boys storming the Capitol here, or in this case, the front office? Basically to be immortal. To make a long story short, it is, again, another deviation from the book, but again, it's kind of meant to happen, more or less, and it's kind of understandable when you really think about it. I know there's a lot of, like, adaptations of, like, Dear Becky, the follow-up book that came out when the show got good, when the show came out, in 2019, and I think that book was made during the pandemic. I don't know how Garth Ennis felt after the fact if any of those through lines got used throughout the series, so go to heavily spoilers for that. It's been a week since the series finale, so I'm trying to catch up as much as I can. So, his death, as far as Homelander's goes. It is absolutely true to the comic. Not how he got depowered, obviously, and not how he absolutely bitched out the first chance he had to do an actual fight with Butcher basically all throughout his final moments. But again, I think Death Battle said it best when they matched it up with a fantasy fight with Omni-Man. He's not fighting like a warrior. He's been fighting throughout the entire series like a bully. And a bully will bitch out the first chance anybody overpowers them, even by a hair. And again, that's your mileage may vary of how. Sorry, I gotta use the other hand. Oh, sorry. Your mileage may vary of how that kind of goes down when it comes to your own personal experience with bullies like that. That isn't a murderous bastard, just like Homelander is over here. And I guess to get the other obvious positives out of the way for this finale, yeah, no shit. And Anthony Starr should absolutely deserve to get a primetime Emmy for the series. I know it's mostly known to be a comedy. I know it's mostly a superhero-based property of a show, and that's going to be a high bar to clear when it comes to the, I guess, primetime Emmys this year, or next year, if anything. But to make a long story short, I think he did a great job for what he was given with the material, and I could say that with pretty much the entire cast. However, yeah, I also am in the small majority that, yeah, the fight itself should have been a lot bigger. There should have been more superheroes, just getting tired of, like, Homelander shit and not just have Teenage Kicks represent that, essentially. And also, on the topic of Teenage Kicks, they should absolutely be the foil for, Gen V before they got canceled. So, yeah, for a series that has been mostly known about essentially, being a deconstruction of, superhero, movies and television nowadays, pretty much just doing the tropes of basically superhero movies and TV shows nowadays, spin-offs and all. Outside of that, I think the ending for Butcher kind of went the way we all thought it was going to go down, also from the comics as well. Just bear in mind, yeah, he got a little lonelier throughout the entire season, and you could definitely tell Carl Urban was trying to emphasize that as more and more this episode goes on. And, yeah, another true-to-life thing, their dog in the series that doubles for Terror in the comics, unfortunately passed away in between, I think, filming this season. So, I don't know if that was his actual, the actual dog that also did the big death scene to finally motivate, Butcher to keep going after all soups after Homelander. So, again, that'll be a factoid probably in the things I missed, knowing my luck. So, judgment time for essentially, oh, and I forgot to do wrap-ups. Yeah, where's Huey here? Wrap-ups after, the fight with, Huey and, Butcher, again, was long overdue. If you know from the comics, that was inevitability as well. But, again, like I said, Jack Quaid and, Carl Urban did a really good job of what they could with the material. Again, you had to depowered him after the V and everything. A plot detail, he had V throughout most of the season. And also another quick bit of, even I have to agree with the bad writing. What happened to Butcher's cancer? Long story short, did it come back? Was it inevitable? Like, I don't know. Again, there will be actual criticisms I'll probably put in the things I missed as well. So, wrap-ups is pretty simple as it was. Jack got to go back to doing electronic store stuff. Literally forgot that since season 1. Again, shows like these kind of want to wrap up in a way to like remind you of the plot pilot, of how far they've come in a not bad full circle moment. And then got his wife back and Ryan, I think the only original character from this adaptation that got to survive, mainly because he was Homelander's son and Butcher's. Basically got to be adopted and stuff like that. And he got to basically still operate as a independent superhero outside of Vaught's money and everything. And I think a kid on the way. So, in case I'm missing any of the wrap-up beeps, let me know in the comments down below as always. So, oh, and before I also, speaking of, yeah, obviously Kimiko got to go back to France after Frenchie died. I think it was a good death scene, ultimately. I think all of the human, or I guess boys ally death scenes throughout the entire season was a good opportunity to basically look at Homelander in the face and be like, what was I even scared of? Kind of thing. I know I'm reciting basically what JT Usher said when on his last scenes as A-Train of the season, but I don't know. Your mileage may vary how you felt with the scenes of every major boys members that died. With that said, my overall final ratings for the boys, and kind of missing doing figure form content because much like having less and less extras as time went on without the show, probably was mostly scheduling changes and stuff like that with everyone's schedule when it comes to most of this cast being bigger outside of the world. Basically, a Stranger Things situation, in case you could tell. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to give it a 6 out of 10 as well, as far as, like, this season goes. Overall, for the show, if I had time to watch Season 4 again, that would have been at least a hair on a 7 7 out of 10. The first 3 seasons I'll give high 9s, mainly out of memory. Haven't really binged it since then. But yeah, that's kind of it. Ultimately, it is a bit of a whimper of a series finale, despite how it is. The fights themselves, when we finally got around to Homelander v. Butcher one last time, was not bad for the season, if anything else. I still think Deep's death was cathartic, but I also feel like it was very particle effectsy with the CG and is kind of understandable given the power set that was this character. And regardless, Chase Crawford did a great job just downfalling his character throughout the season, so I'm not mad at that. Allfather, however, like I said, Devon Diggs absolutely should have been here all along since, like, I want to say after season 3 to set up a better angle to how they were going to go with the Godhood with Homelander throughout the season. So, and final, again, final flowers to obviously Anthony Starr, who did amazing work with this character, a good deconstruction of superhero archetypes with this kind of like lethality regardless, and despite everything, I still think he does deserve at least one award out of all this, if anything else. So that's kind of it, and missing figure forms aside, don't worry, we're going to probably try to do that for the Masters of the Universe next week. Oh, come on, it's going to work. Yeah, and you're going to just maybe do the, what's going on, like, jokes or whatever. Oh, come on, it's more than just that. I just gotta find the wiki. Dude, did you even read that universe? They had Boom Comics since when? Alright, anyway, go to CK with his day job here. Yeah, I actually gotta go fly, so, whoop! And he figured out how to fly in my hand for me, and I let him have this much power for my channel. Aside, yeah, go to him on the end cards for my previous video, which was obviously talking about Mandalorian Grogu. Other hand, here to my just out as of today short for the episode 26 for campaign 4 for Critical Role. Go to a very, I guess I tried my best to do the crowbar for Butcher thing, but turns out 7-inch fingers and accessories don't mix. To sub the channel, hit the notification bell down below. High point if you're new to the video. And until next time, I'm Retrokid saying, yeah, I get the poster envy, but at the same time, it's still an adaptation of Boys. It could have been a lot weirder. You know that, right? And, yeah, final thoughts. I'll probably put this in the things I missed, but thank you to the cast and crew of the show, and more on that probably in the things I missed.